Max Payne 3 is Rockstar's most technically advanced shooter. Even with the release of modern classics such as GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar has never made a game with as advanced gunplay, mechanics, and visual detail as refined and fun to play as Max Payne 3. Max Payne takes heavy inspiration from over-the-top Hong Kong action movies popularized by director John Woo. In terms of realism, the gunplay isn't realistic at all. However, it introduced many elements of gunplay that not only persist today in popular shooters, but are important elements of gunfighting in the real world.
It was almost over. So I guess I'd become what they wanted me to be. A killer.
Obviously, shooting and killing people is a part of all shooters. However, all shooters handle the depiction of death slightly differently. Some go for the loud and obnoxious, while others go for the subtle. Max Payne 3 goes for visceral. It isn't excessive gore, rather detailed with nothing left to the imagination. Entry and exit wounds are here on full display, and enemies realistically fall over when meeting their end. Rather than comically ragdoll and fly back. Perhaps this is to underline the fact that in a gunfight, the people you shoot at have families and loved ones.
Poor girl was dead. Shot through the head by some hero fighting the rich one lonely secretary at a time.
Each person you kill dies with enough dramatic flair for an action movie, yet with enough violence to remind you that these are humans you're shooting, and not just faceless goons that are fated to die for your pleasure. Max Payne is accustomed to violent death, but we as players are not. Showing enemies with some personality before meeting their relatively realistic end at Max Payne's hands helps underscore that.
You killed my boy! You killed my only son!
We gotta get out of here now.
Most people playing this game are not tactical operators. Even if they were, getting into a gunfight with the amount of people Max Payne does daily would almost certainly be suicide. And most of us can't make life or death decisions at the frequency that such a gunfight would require. Bullet time slows down the game and gives the player time to make these decisions, whether to push forward, wait in cover, or shoot a live grenade out of the sky.
Get those things past the TSA.
Rather than being immediately overwhelmed by a massively superior force, players get the time to navigate gunfights like a chess master, rather than the alcoholic failed cop we play as. Also, they look cool.
They'd come from the control room. It looked...
Rockstar has never been the greatest with weapon details, and Max Payne 3 is no exception. The guns don't have all the details that their real-life counterparts would have, even compared to other games released around the same time. However, the attention to detail based on the story is quite apparent. Max Payne has taken up being a bodyguard in Brazil. Previously as a cop, he extensively used the Beretta 92 FS. Having moved to Brazil, and seemingly spending every penny he earns on drinking, it's unlikely he would care too much about the quality of his firearm. Thus, in Max Payne 3, Max's usual sidearm is the cheaper Taurus PT-92. More importantly, the rounds each gun fires are modeled individually. Whether you shoot 9mm, 5.56, or buckshot. You will see it, and enemies hit by it will react differently based on the round. These details, while small, help immerse the player in the environments Max Payne is in. It helps sell the gritty tale that Max Payne has become involved in.
late to be giving him his last rites, don't you think?
This flakjack. This is high-end gear. These guys are seriously financed.
Yeah, I noticed. I'll get you one for Christmas. Come on, let's keep moving.
Max Payne 3 was not the first game to introduce armor systems into a shooter. However, it is one of the few shooters that emphasizes the importance of body armor and the advantage it provides in a gunfight. It does this through both cutscenes and gameplay.
It was a little late to be thinking about precautions, but something told me this shit show was barely through the warm-up act.
Enemies wearing body armor take noticeably more rounds to kill when shooting them in their plates. It isn't perfect, especially when the high-end gear looks like it's from the latest Wish.com catalog, but it is neat to see a game this old promote the importance of body armor, and make it something players have to think about when fighting better equipped enemies. Compared to many other games, the AI in this game is pretty good. They aren't static. They will flank you from all sides, throw grenades at you, and constantly put pressure on you to make decisions and move. Your enemies aren't static pop-up targets waiting to be shot. As mentioned before, Rockstar has put in the effort to make them appear to have personality and a life outside of shooting people, and they sure fight like they want to preserve it. Enemies also know when to be defensive. They will scramble to cover if caught in a bad position, and will even communicate with their allies to try and coordinate their retreat. Max Payne 3 truly changed how Rockstar approached shooters. Many of the features introduced in this game have gone on to be implemented in their newer games, such as GTA 5. It's a shame it didn't sell as well as it should have, and that for the time being, there doesn't seem to be any new shooters in the modern era from Rockstar. We can thank the unfortunate success of GTA Online for that. Time will tell if we ever get another game like this, or if Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes will innovate as much as 3 did. But if you haven't played it before, give Max Payne 3 a try. There's a lot to enjoy.